Great. So here we are at the beautiful Mullum Community Gardens with Graeme Innes and Sarah James. Graeme was essentially the founder of this practice and has buried over 200 people. And Sarah was buried and did the initiation a couple of weeks ago in the April new moon. So, yeah, Sarah, what was, just interested, what was your experience? What did you get out of it? What do you feel to share?
Well, it was terrifying being buried. I have to say, up to the last night, I wasn't sure if I was going to do it or not. But I've already requested my partner, Bridget, to come and supervise. And she was she'd already got time off work, so I felt like I should show up and go through with it. And digging the grave was fine, and lying down in the grave was fine. During the day I was looking forward to that moment without looking forward to it of when the dirt would get piled on top of me, and with a sort of feeling of dread. And actually in reality it wasn't as bad as what I thought. Like the dirt went on and I stayed in my place, and it was actually quite pleasant for like the first maybe half an hour or so. And I sort of had in my memory of other people telling me that it was soon after that they'd started experiencing a lot of pain. And sure enough, like after about half an hour, it became quite excruciating just being in the one place, and bits of me started going numb, so I started moving around a bit, and in the process of moving around I started getting a lot of cramps. And what surprised me was the cramps actually go away.
Yes.
So I've had cramps before and they've only gone away when I've pushed but then I just relaxed into it, and they did.
Well, you have no option.
So you have to relax into it, I guess that's the whole point in some ways. Yeah, so once the cramps went, I found myself going into like an involuntary spasms. So it was like my survival instinct decided that no matter what, I was going to get out of there, and I had convinced myself that I could dig myself out of that grave, and there was absolutely no way I was getting out. And even as I was digging myself out, I was getting absolutely nowhere, maybe a few like minuscule centimetres, but I was convinced that I was going to be able to lift up my body and that the dirt would fall underneath me in stages until I would be released. And so I just, kept kicking and screaming for probably what was maybe 3 or 4 hours, but it felt like about half an hour, because my overall time in there was 6 hours, but it seemed like about an hour, honestly, so I don't know why the time went so fast. But when I finally realised I wasn't going to get out, it started raining, and that was probably the climax when I realised I was stuck in there when it was raining, and I think I started coming up in my head some other way to get out, but soon enough.
Are you sure it was only 6 hours?
Yeah, something like that. 6 p.m. till midnight. Yeah.
And by the way, it was very flattering of you to say that I was the founder of it. However, the process actually found me. I simply put myself in its way in a protest action, certainly not anticipating the sort of outcome that I experienced.
Oh, that's right, because you were buried for a protest for several days.
That's right. At the
and you went through an initiation without it being expected initiation.
Exactly. And, afterwards I could sort of feel all this information percolating up in my body and things, and nothing that I had anticipated whatsoever, and then got jailed, and my jail experience was like another burial of sorts, realising that just like the earth, all those guys were me. All the worst things that they had ever done all passed across the screen of my mind. Amazing. The only difference between them and me was that my ego hadn't hooked onto it and made it manifest. And then it wasn't until some time later, when I was out in the Tanami Desert, that I got invited to take part in the boys to men's and older men's initiations in the Warlpiri tribe, and found that what I had learned in my burial was very, very similar to the sort of stuff that the boys were learning in their initiations. Psychotherapeutic
Yes.
preventative medicine in action.
Fantastic.
Yeah, awesome stuff. Yeah.
So Sarah, would you like to share a little bit, like, what else came up for you in the grave?
As I kicked and screamed, just in the first section, I kicked and screamed to get out, I did have some very positive experiences too. I started feeling and sensing shamanic animals in the stars. And so as I was kicking and screaming to get out with my survival instinct, I felt like I merged with the wolf and the tiger. And it really helped me connect to a sense of my own ability to fight and to struggle and to push my way through a situation. Now, obviously, it didn't work. And so then this is all very instinctual. Then it seemed like my body decided on a new method, which is just giving up. And, there's not really a method in that. It's just surrender. And I think, in a sense, that was the most powerful part of the initiation, was realising that no matter what I did, I wasn't getting out of that hole. And through letting go, and, by this time I was in just quite excruciating pain, just from being in the same position and being a bit twisted because I tried to dig myself out, having sort of several fingers all pushed over like that and stuck up against my legs, and my feet a bit in a strange position, created quite a lot of pain. And I remembered someone saying to me before I went in the hole, from their experience, that the pain, once you surrender to it, would actually go away. So I think in my mind I'd remembered that and just decided to let go and just feel. And that's when the powerful, for me, the powerful part of the initiation was, because by letting go into that pain, I, in a sense, was able to let go into all of my pain and just recognise that all the times I'd felt lonely or abandoned or stuffed or just unsuccessful or unloved, anything like that, was actually an illusion. And an amazing revelation, like, to recognise that one bit of pain in my little finger, to surrender to that, was a broader surrender to all the pain that I'd ever experienced in my life, including, like, as a baby and as a child. And so, this, I think, was the massive gift that I experienced, as being able to see that pain wasn't there, meant that I could open my heart. And by that stage, I think I was comfortable with the pain. It was probably about an hour before I got out. I was comfortable with the pain. I'd let go, and I'd gone into my intimacy and vulnerability. And I was starting to develop the confidence to ask Graeme or Mike or one of the facilitators to get me out, because I thought, well, this is the only way I'm going to get out. And the reason I wanted to get out was because I was in a bit of a strange position. My back was a bit twisted and I felt quite uncomfortable because of the spasming I'd gone through earlier, trying to dig myself out and ending up all contorted. So, I dug deep within myself and really felt that confidence to request to be dug out. And that was a big shift. And the facilitators half dug me out, and then I had to dig myself out the rest of the way, and that was another big initiation, because my arms were dug out and they were numb, and my hands were very sore, and I had to wait until they came back, and then dug myself out over about half an hour. And that really was a process of deepening fortitude, of dedication and determination and will. So many aspects to the initiation, and I really recommend it. It was just amazing. And I have to say, since that day, a lot of opportunities have been coming my way. So I felt like a lot more activated within my will. And a couple of synchronicities happened. I ran into a man that I wanted to work for really badly, and I'd been put off by the application, but I just ran into him at the shop, and I walked up to him and asked him if I could come and work there, and he said yes, and I've been there since then. And
excellent.
Yeah, that was quite life-changing. And I just generally feel quite motivated that anything I want to do, within reason, I can make it happen.
Yeah, it really does seem to have this amazing balancing effect within people. I mean, there's some circumstances that I've seen where guys have been so yang that it really hasn't been funny, and they've gone through a major workshop in the ground and put them totally in touch with their feelings that like they would never have believed. And vice versa, same women who had thought that they were being incredibly successful in a male-dominated world, but had actually forgotten about their feelings. And because everything, as far as I'm concerned, is about how we colonise our own minds or allow them to be colonised by the people around us.
Yes, so true. Yeah, I hate to say this, but I feel blessed that you were part of that protest.
Oh, so do I.
Yeah. Amazing transformations for a lot of people.
It was regarded by many around as a totally failed protest, but in terms of what I got out of it, it was just amazing.
Amazing.
Cool. All right. Well, any last thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to do it again.
So you think you'll be potentially back in a couple of weeks' time?
If I'm allowed to, yeah. We're supposed to rotate between supervising and being buried, but
no.
It's my 40th birthday on the 11th of May, so I really wouldn't mind getting buried again before that, because I sense that would be a big event for me, and it'd be nice to have a bit of punch behind it. So yeah, I just feel grateful for the journey and grateful to Mike for seeking out Graeme and making it happen.